Well, hello everyone. I hope you've enjoyed some good stories and have been watching Miss Valerie when we can't be together. Today we are going to do some winter holiday stories that are both cutting and telling. So cutting, we're going to cut a piece of paper, and drawing and telling, I'm going to use my little boards here and my dry erase markers, and I'm going to tell you a story and I'm going to draw while I'm telling you the story. So our first story is about the curious little mouse. There once was a little mouse who lived in a hole in the wall. So we're going to make our wall in the little hole he lives in. He decided he wanted to go out and explore. So before he went too far, he went outside just to make sure there was no cats, and he did a little circle around his house. No cats, so he decided he was going to explore just a little bit further. So he went out and made halfway and explored a little further, keeping watch for the family's cat, or an even bigger little dog, Buster, who he also enjoyed chasing the little mice just for fun. His brother had gotten caught in that little dog's teeth once when he strayed just a little bit too far from the hole in the wall. He had gotten into a chasing game with Buster, and the boy was their mom mad when she got home. Well, that little mouse never saw that dog or the cat, so he decided to go outside another time. So he followed the path that he made just before, and he made a brand new, bigger circle path. Bigger than before, and he went outside and circled around outside. Although he hadn't looked out the window, he had never been outside before. He was so amazed by the things that he saw. He saw trees and leaves and rocks, and everything was covered with beautiful white sparkling snow. He played in it for a while in that beautiful snow, and then he decided that he should probably go back before his mother got worried. He decided to gather up some rocks and bring them home to show his mother, because they were all so pretty. And while he really wanted enough, excuse me, every time we tell a story, sometimes we don't tell it right. So I lost my spot. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to catch up. And he really wanted enough to give her, his mother, and his brothers and sisters. So he decided that he would try to bring home 5 of them. He also wanted to bring home some really neat sticks that he had found. It would be all right as long as he didn't run into a pesky cat or that silly dog in the meantime. He put a few more things into his pockets, and then he was ready to go. The problem was that stuff was all very heavy, and he was just a tiny little mouse. He started to carry them inside, and then, oh no, the dog! Here comes Dog. He was chasing him and nipping at his heels, and he made him drop all those pretty rocks, one right after the other. So on his way back in, he dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The mouse got away from the dog, but he was so sad that he had lost all those pretty rocks. But at least he still had these 2 sticks, plus the other things in his pockets. So he had the sticks, and he laid them out. So he crept along and tiptoe, and then out of nowhere sprang the cat. The mouse broke into the run as fast as he can, and he tried to hold on to those sticks, but he dropped them. And eventually he let them go, and that's why they are laying along the side of the path. Soon he's within sight of his mouse hole, and I can tell you that his little home never looked so good to him in all of his life. He ran and he ran, but as he ran, the cat scratched him and ripped his pockets right open, and the rest of the treasures, the rocks and the sticks, fell right out onto the ground. And oh no, that little mouse was so sad. So he dropped his rocks and his stick and some more rocks as the cat chased him around and around. The little mouse just barely made it back inside before that cat got him. He was lucky. His mother would be pretty mad at him when she found out what he had done, especially when she found out that he had gone outside because she knew it was cold out there. So she told him the next time he went out, he needed to wear his scarf. So he remembered to take his scarf the next time he went out. And his hat. The little mouse told her to look out the window because he wanted her to see what he had made when he was out in the snow. Can you guess what it is? You're right, it is a snowman. So you can tell all sorts of fun stories and make simple shapes, and they turn into a cool drawing at the end. And that was The Curious Little Mouse. My next story is going to be a cutting story. And this is In the Company of a Star. Once upon a time, not so long ago, we're going to need our paper and our scissors. There was a little hill. And on top of the hill, there was a little hut. And in that little hut, there was a little old man who lived there all alone. One December night, the man saw a shooting star across the sky. "Oh, how wonderful it would be to have a star for company," said the little old man. "I'll catch me one." The next morning, the little old man climbed the mountain nearby. So up he goes. He waited at the top until sundown, and the moon came up and the stars appeared in the sky. Then he reached up and up and up, and he couldn't catch the star. Oh my. "Oh, how wonderful it would be to have a star for company," said the little old man, and he fell asleep, feeling rather sad. The next morning, the little old man noticed that there was a taller mountain beside that one. So he went down the first mountain, climbed back up the second mountain, and he climbed in the valley and climbed right back up. And he waited so the sun went down, the moon came up, and the stars all appeared in the sky. Then he stood on his tiptoes and reached way up as high as he could reach. But he couldn't catch the star. "Oh, how wonderful it would be to have a star for company," he said. He fell asleep again, feeling rather sad. But the next morning, the little old man noticed that there was still a taller mountain beside this mountain. So he climbed down, went through the valley, and climbed right back up to the top, because it was much taller. He waited at the top for the sun to go down and the moon to come up. And the stars appeared in the sky. And then he jumped high and reached up and as high as he could, but he couldn't catch a star. The little old man hung his head. "I guess I'll never have a star for company," he said sadly. But then he looked down and he saw something in the valley, so he had to go all the way back down. "I think I can get a star," said the little old man. And he fell asleep dreaming and wondering of the company of the star. The next morning, the little old man climbed back up or climbed back down the mountain. But he didn't look up. Instead, he looked straight ahead, and he saw the star. And he looked down the path. He came to a small house, and inside the window of the house, he saw a star. The little old man knocked on the door. "How lucky you are to have a star to keep you company," he said to the woman that opened the door. The little old woman invited the little old man inside to meet her family and to drink a cup of Christmas cider. The little old man shared the company of the family and the star for many hours. Would you like to see where the star was that he saw through the window? We cut it. He climbed the mountains and went down to the house. And we opened up our paper, and he saw the star at the top of the tree. Isn't that pretty neat? So he did have a star after all, and he didn't have to spend his time alone. I have a song that I like to sing this time of year, because sometimes we see snow, sometimes it's a little warmer, but when you get to see that snow and you get to play in the snow, just like our story about the curious little mouse making a snowman and our Christmas tree, that snow is going to be here soon. So we're going to need both hands, and you're going to make a snowball. I made a little snowball as perfect as can be. I thought I'd keep him as a pet, so pretend to pet him. And I let him sleep with me. I made him some pajamas and gave him a pillow for his head. Late last night he ran away, but first he wet the bed. Ew. Oh, he didn't do that. What happened to our snowball? It was so warm in the house and snow was so cold, he melted. Oh my goodness. Well, share that story, or you can say it as a story, or you could sing it as a song to your family. I have one more drawing story for us. These guys might be helping pull Santa's sleigh pretty soon. I'm excited. Are you? All right. So this one is called The Trouble at the North Pole. It was Christmas Eve, and all of Santa's toys were ready to be packed up into the sleigh, and they were in big piles. So we have to have our piles of toys. There's one pile. There's two piles. The elves put all the piles into the big bag in the back, just like this. It was much too heavy for the elves to carry, so Mrs. Claus and Santa grabbed the side of the bag just like this. The bag was much too heavy for the two of them, so they struggled to carry it. To make things worse, they saw snow falling so thick at the North Pole that they kept getting lost. The Clauses kept taking the wrong path, and their tracks were in the snow just like this. Took this path and they went this way, and then they backed up and then they went this way. Finally, they found the sleigh. Good luck, Santa, said Mrs. Claus, and she gave him a great big kiss. Well, Santa caught that kiss, and it made him kind of blush. Santa threw the bag into the sleigh, buckled a seatbelt, and yelled, "Merry Christmas!" as he and his team took off into the night, flying all over the world just like this. And leading the team was, do you know who that is? Who's the reindeer that has that bright red nose? You're right, it was Rudolph. So when I told you the story, did you know I was going to draw Rudolph? You didn't? Well, that's the fun of my picture story. Well, I hope you enjoyed our stories today, and that you'll come back and join us again next time. Miss Valerie will be up next, and join Miss Addie if you want to hear some stories that are in another language. She's teaching us some fun stories in Spanish, and I love to learn new ways to talk and different ways to listen. So you have a great evening. Settle down and get ready for bed, and we will see you again in a few weeks. Bye.